Most women don't realize this, but the texts you're ignoring could be the loudest declarations of love you'll ever receive. You're waiting for long paragraphs, checking his reply time closely, and wondering why he's not more open with his feelings. But here is the real truth. When a man is truly crazy about you in the most genuine way possible, he does not always send you long essays. He sends you 3 simple words that show everything his heart feels, but his mouth cannot easily express. These are not the usual ones like "I love you" or "I miss you," which often come later once he feels more at ease. The 3-word messages I am talking about appear in the middle of his busy day during quiet moments when thoughts of you suddenly fill his mind. They come out before he can think too much or try to act cool about it. And if you have been getting these messages and treating them as just normal talk, you have been missing the clearest signs that you hold a special place in his thoughts and heart. Men do not text just to fill empty space or break silence. They reach out when something inside pushes them to connect with you, when the need to talk to you becomes stronger than their worry about seeming too eager. Here is an important twist. These 3-word texts often appear so ordinary that most women pass right over their true meaning without noticing. You might read them, think that is nice, and then continue with your day. But what you are missing is the real feeling behind them and the courage it took for him to send them in the first place. The fact that out of everyone he knows, he chose to reach out to you with those exact words carries more meaning than most people realize. Once you understand what these short texts truly represent, you will never read your messages the same way again. His feelings become easier to recognize in every notification because even simple words can reveal genuine interest. Stay with me as we explore what these messages often mean. If you want to finally understand what his short texts really mean, hit like right now. Men and women often approach texting differently. For many women, messages help maintain connection and share emotions throughout the day. For many men who are genuinely interested, however, every text feels like a small emotional risk. Even the simplest message is often chosen with care. When a man feels a strong emotional and romantic pull toward you, he naturally wants to reach out, hear from you, and know that he is on your mind too. Yet many men grow up believing that openly expressing feelings makes them appear vulnerable, so they often communicate through small, consistent actions instead of long, emotional conversations. That is why a simple 3-word text can carry surprising emotional weight. It feels safe enough for him to send while still satisfying his desire to connect. Reaching out during a busy day, thinking of you, and finding a reason to start the conversation often reveal far more than the words alone. His behavior speaks louder than the message itself. When feelings become stronger than his fear of being vulnerable, those brief texts naturally appear. Comment thinking. If a guy has ever sent you thinking about you, he is not playing games with you. He is carefully moving through the tricky area between wanting you close and fearing he might push too hard. Another key point is the idea of emotional safety. A man will keep reaching out only if he senses that his efforts feel welcome on your side. If he notices warmth, openness, and real interest from you, those 3-word texts will appear more often. You become his safe place where he can show a bit of softness without worry of judgment. Once he sees you as emotionally safe, his way of communicating begins to change gradually. He starts sharing more of himself, even if it still comes in small pieces of 3 words. But not every man feels confident expressing interest right away. Some become nervous exactly around the women they like most. Their messages might seem too simple or even a little distant, not because they lack care, but because they fear saying something wrong. They send those 3 words and then immediately question themselves about whether it was too much or too little. This careful thinking often leads to messages that look basic, but actually required real bravery to send. So if his texts appear short or cautious, do not quickly decide he is not interested. He might be guarding a heart that feels much more deeply than you know. In simple terms, male texting follows layers of hidden meaning. It is not about how long his messages are or how fancy the language sounds. It depends more on how often they come, when they arrive, and the deeper feeling underneath the words. When you learn to notice that hidden layer, those 3-word texts change from ordinary chats into clear signs of how strongly you have affected him. Now let us look at some specific phrases that show he is really crazy about you. One of the strongest three-word texts a man can send is thinking about you. On the surface, it seems kind, but nothing special that anyone might say. But you need to understand the deeper part. When a man sends you these 3 words without any prompt, especially during his busy day when work and other things demand his time, you have become his main focus in that moment. You are not just a quick thought, but something that fills his mind completely. Men do not usually share every inner feeling they have. They are not constantly writing down every emotion. So when he stops his activities, takes out his phone, and tells you that you are in his thoughts, it carries real importance. He is basically saying he cannot pay full attention to anything else because you occupy so much space in his head. He is showing that you matter enough to interrupt his normal routine. Type yes if you're tired of overthinking his 3-word texts. When a man tells you he is thinking about you, he is doing more than starting a conversation. He is willing to risk appearing interested because the desire to connect is stronger than the fear of rejection. He has no guarantee of how you will respond, yet he reaches out anyway. That kind of message reflects genuine emotional investment. The timing matters too. A late-night text may mean you are on his mind before sleep. A midday message shows you bring comfort during a busy day. And a weekend morning text suggests you are part of his peaceful moments. Pay attention to what he does afterward, because waiting for your reply or suggesting time together shows he wants to turn feelings into real connection. Another powerful 3-word message is, "How are you?" While it may sound ordinary, it carries a different meaning when it comes from someone who genuinely cares. He is not just filling silence, but inviting you to share your thoughts, feelings, and daily life. When he listens closely, asks follow-up questions, and remembers details from past conversations, he shows that your inner world matters to him. If you mention stress and he wants to help, or you share good news and he celebrates with you, he is building emotional closeness one conversation at a time. Comment how if he regularly asks, "How are you?" and truly listens. When a man consistently checks in, he is creating the foundation for a deeper relationship. He wants more than attraction. He wants to know the real you. The frequency of those messages tells its own story. Asking once in a while shows growing interest. Every few days means you are becoming part of his routine. And daily check-ins often mean you have become an important part of his emotional world. Real connection is built through steady care, and sometimes the smallest messages reveal the biggest feelings. He has included you in his life so naturally that reaching out feels like part of his regular habits. You are not an afterthought, but a real priority. How are you also helps him stay important in your world. He knows regular contact keeps him in your thoughts. He builds a pattern so you get used to hearing from him and having him as part of your days. Because men who are serious do not vanish. They show up in steady ways, even if it is just 3 words in a message. Now let us discuss another 3-word text that people often misunderstand but holds great meaning. That is "miss you already," or similar versions like "I miss you" or "missing you today." When a man sends this, especially right after you spent time together, he is saying your presence stayed with him strongly. Being with you felt so good that your absence now feels noticeable and not easy. He is not ready for the connection to stop just because the physical meeting ended. Most men do not like admitting they miss someone because it feels open and vulnerable. It seems like giving away some control or admitting another person affects their happiness. So when he texts that he misses you, he goes against those protective feelings because the emotion is too powerful to hold back. He chooses honest feelings over protecting his pride. And that decision reveals how much you mean to him. Consider the situation around it. If you just spent the day together and he messages that night saying he already misses you, it shows he cannot get enough of your company. Hours together were not sufficient to fill his desire to be near you. If you had a wonderful talk and he says he misses talking to you, he has become drawn to the special connection you share. You create feelings in him that no one else does. If he sends "I miss you" out of the blue on an ordinary day, you live not only in his thoughts, but also in his heart. He carries you with him emotionally, even when apart. What makes this message powerful is what it suggests about the future. When a man says he misses you, he indirectly expresses wanting more time together. He shows he is not fully satisfied with current contact and hopes you feel similarly. It serves as a gentle invitation toward more shared moments and deeper bonds. He tests if you share his level of investment. If you respond with the same feeling, notice how often it appears. If "I miss you" comes regularly, you have become someone he depends on emotionally in a positive way. You form part of what makes him happy. When life feels good, he wants to share it with you. When times are tough, he seeks your comfort. When days feel dull, he wants your energy. Missing you has turned into his usual state when you are not around. He is willing to tell you because he hopes you will help by being present more. Some men use creative versions like "wish you were here" or "could use your company" or "you would love this." All of these mean "I miss you" without using the exact words. He includes you mentally in his experiences and imagines you beside him. He thinks about what would improve the moment, and the answer is always you. Share this with your best friend if she's missing these clear signs from a guy. When his mind automatically places you into every situation and he cannot fully enjoy things without wishing you were there, he has moved past simple interest into real attachment. Beyond those main phrases, other three-word texts also deserve notice because they show similar deep feelings. "Good morning, beautiful. Sleep well tonight. Cannot stop smiling. You made my day." Each one carries emotional importance that goes well beyond the plain words. "Good morning, beautiful," or any version with a sweet name, shows you are his first thought upon waking. Before work emails or social media or anything else, he thinks of you and wants you to know. He sets a warm tone for your day by adding affection. He hopes to be the reason for your first smile. That is a man intentionally making you part of his daily life. "Sleep well tonight" means he wants to be your last thought, or at least wishes to be. He offers emotional care and protection. He makes sure you end your day feeling remembered and valued. Men who send goodnight messages regularly want to surround your day with their presence in kind ways. They wish to be the comforting voice in quiet moments before sleep. They create closeness through steady, gentle contact. "Cannot stop smiling" admits that you affect him in a physical way too. Thinking of you or talking with you creates a reaction he cannot control. His face shows it clearly. He tells you this because he wants you to understand the influence you have. He is not trying to seem distant or cool. He lets you see that you bring him real happiness that appears on his face. "You made my day" is powerful because it recognizes your strong effect. Out of everything in his last day, you were the best part. Type "miss." If you've received "I miss you" after spending time together, you are what made an ordinary time into something good. He tells you that your words, attention, and presence add real value to his life. When a man regularly says you improve his days, he builds reasons for you to stay in his life on a lasting basis. What connects all these three-word texts is that they represent emotional openness wrapped in short form. He gives you pieces of his heart in small amounts because that feels safer and easier for him to manage. But do not confuse the short size of the message with the large size of the feeling behind it. These brief texts are only the small visible part of much bigger emotions underneath. What he feels runs deep and strong. He is simply learning to share it gradually in ways he can handle. Now that you understand which three-word texts show his true emotions, the next question is how to handle this knowledge. How should you reply in a way that respects his openness and your own value? Understanding the meaning is only part of it. The other part involves responding so the connection grows stronger instead of fading or being ignored. The best approach when you receive one of these meaningful short texts is to reply with matching warmth and openness. You do not need to play hard to get or delay your answer for hours. Comment "beautiful" if he ever texts "good morning, beautiful." You do not need to act less interested to seem mysterious. When a man shows genuine feelings, the strongest response is honest warmth in return. If he says he has been thinking about you and you feel the same, tell him. If he asks how you are and truly listens, let him into your world. Return his effort with real connection, but match his energy, especially in the early stages, so the emotional investment stays balanced and natural. When he sends meaningful 3-word texts and you respond with kindness, you build trust together. He learns that his openness is safe with you and that his feelings are valued instead of dismissed. As that emotional security grows, those short messages often become longer conversations, deeper confessions, and clearer expressions of how important you are to him. If you have noticed messages like "thinking about you," "how are you," or "I miss you" appearing often, trust what those consistent patterns are telling you. Real love usually begins quietly, not with dramatic gestures, but with simple words spoken sincerely. Those 3-word messages are often an invitation into his inner world, and responding with the same honesty can become the beginning of something meaningful for both of you. When the connection is genuine, you spend less time doubting and more time understanding each other without endless explanations, like comment which 3-word text you receive most often, and subscribe for more ways to recognize when his feelings are truly real.